Hey everyone, Andrew here from a Tale of Two Hygienists podcast. Yes, you are on the right feed, but no, this is not a normal show. I wanted to let you know right now that what you are about to hear is not suitable for work. It is likely also not appropriate for children. If you are sensitive to racy topics, go ahead and hit that delete button right now. You might not like this episode. But now that you've been warned, please welcome to a special RDH Rant Takeover episode with Heather, Anna, and Liz.
Raunchy yet informative podcast. I'm your host. I'm your host, Anna. I'm your host, Anna, and joining me today are Heather and Liz, as always. Guys, say hi.
Hi. Nobody can see you wave.
I was pointing to you to go first.
Oh, I thought you were waving.
Me too.
How much have you had to drink, Heather? Damn.
I was saying, Liz, go first. Ladies first.
What are you
Okay.
saying about yourself?
I don't know. I'm drunk.
So today's topic is about cheap bosses. And no, we don't mean things like offering lower wages or not buying us new instruments. We're talking about taking like extreme measures to like save a penny, like ridiculous cheapness.
What was
So-
that show? Remember that show?
I don't.
Extreme Cheapskates or something
Oh,
like that?
I've never watched it, but I've seen it like advertised.
Yeah, I've never watched it either. Anyway, go
We
ahead.
should do a dental edition of that. So yeah, that's
That's what this
That's
What's
kind of
is.
like what we're doing.
yeah, exactly. But I'm saying like I want to be on TV. Look at me. I should be on TV. I'm kidding.
None of us should be on TV right now.
Exactly.
Hey, you guys are gorgeous. Knock it off.
Anyway, so I put a post up in Rant and I was like, holy shit, like it was
200.
yeah, 200
200
comments.
comments.
Some of the stuff was like a doozy, man. I was like, what?
It's
So
crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. Have you guys ever worked for like a cheap boss or like
Yeah.
anything like outlandish that you can think of?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us,
Yeah.
Liz.
I don't think so.
My first job, it's always the first job right out of hygiene school, isn't it? My first
Mhm.
job out of hygiene school, the guy, he left, he was an associate or something. He left and he opened his own practice and he was starting from scratch. Didn't have a hygienist for the longest time. When I got there, he was like, okay, so basically these are your instruments. And it was like a box of just, I swear he ordered them from eBay or got them at a flea market, or they were just like the skinny handled. They were like not shiny. I spent so much time trying to revive these things. And when I interviewed with him, I asked him, do you have a Cavitron? And he did not. He did order one because I was like, if you don't have a Cavitron, I'm not working.
Exactly.
So he did order one. So that was good. But the rest of the instruments were just, it was like it wasn't even butter knives. It
A
was
butter
like
knife?
sporks. It was like
Oh,
a spork.
spork.
Yeah.
Taco Bell sport.
It was awful. And then what else did he do? We never, and first thing out of school, you don't want to make waves, right? So we had to double bag the XCPs. They never went in the sterilization.
Wait,
Also,
what?
it seemed to be a lot of
So double
offices.
barrier. Yeah. So put a double barrier on the XCPs and that was it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that kosher? I don't know. Is that legit? Like, can you do that with OSHA if
No.
you're using a double barrier? I don't know.
No.
Well, there's like what? Critical,
But
semi-critical.
when you think about it, how come? Because the sensor doesn't get sterilized, and that's the same thing going in the patient's mouth, and you're just barrier wrapping it. So when you think about it, I wonder.
Well,
they don't bite.
I don't
'Cause
think
when
the
you-
I guess,
barrier
yeah.
covers the whole entire XCP
Mhm.
or whatever that contraption is called. So then if you have to put your hands in the patient's mouth and then you have saliva on your hands and then you're touching like the end of the XCP
Yeah, or the
Mhm.
ring, or yeah,
or
that's
the
true.
ring, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But-
Okay, yeah.
And plus, when people bite down, like a lot of times people will really bite down because you can see those XCPs. They
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like
They
those
bite
bite
through
marks
it.
in them. Looks like
Mhm.
somebody's dog chewed them up.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I'm glad my fingers
So-
weren't there.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, he was just trying to get his practice going, but it was not good and they were not good people. But anyway, I did get accused when I was finishing my notes at the end of the night. I did get accused of milking the clock. And I was like, it's 5. I'm finishing my notes. It's been 5 minutes, dude. Like, If I'm gonna milk
Calm.
the clock, it's yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah,
it
calm
was
your
really
tits.
nervous. So anyway, I wasn't there
So-
very long.
I think we should say, like, just kind of blanket here. We know that dentistry is expensive. We know
yes.
that running and owning a practice is expensive.
It
It's
is.
like
Mhm.
crazy between just all of the equipment to paying your employees to all the little things. It is
The
expensive.
overhead.
So
Mm-hmm.
the overhead, yeah. So we understand overhead. And that's not what we're like ranting about. What we're
No.
ranting is about in this episode is dentists that are just flat out non-ethical, cutting corners,
Right.
not being like legit OSHA, CDC, DBFG, you know, like
The ASPCA, you know.
exactly. And you're gonna call DCS on them. So that's not like what we think. Like we know
yes,
what it takes to run an office.
Mhm.
it's more the obscure things. It's more like
Yeah.
that obscurity of some things that you do that aren't even really saving much money in
Right.
the long
In
run.
the
So it
whole
just
scheme
becomes
of
like
things.
you're paying someone to like cut bibs in half to save money. But like, is that really worth it? Just, you know, like,
So, like in all the things I was reading through that post, there were a lot of things that were the same. Like I had no idea that cutting bibs in half
Never heard
was
of
a
it.
thing.
Yeah.
But in my radar, that's like, okay, whatever. That's
Yeah.
not like, oh my God, you cheap ass dentist.
yeah.
That doesn't bother me. Whatever, it's a bib. But some of the other things, you know, I didn't know how much all the offices do it, like measuring out floss. Like it has to be like a certain amount and
Which is absurd.
cutting gauze in half and prophy paste cups in half. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a little wacky.
So I'm a floss whore. Like those kind of rules are probably in place because of me. Because when I like put the floss on the trays, I use an absurd amount of floss, and I can always tell that it's not me when it's like a little tiny piece of floss. Did you know an Elf? Have you guys seen Elf with Will
Yes.
Ferrell? Okay,
Mhm.
and when it's coming down, it's like 6-inch ribbon curls, and she's like, "That's impossible," and he's like, 6 inches. I always think of that when I'm putting my floss on the tray. But we don't, I mean, my office doesn't have any rules like that, but I always think that when
I think
there's,
I
like, the little
subbed at an office like when I first graduated that I went to that had like a actual like a piece of paper like laminated hanging up in sterilization that you actually had to like measure the floss
That's-
and it couldn't be any bigger.
But when
Come
you think
on.
about it, you're paying someone to sit there and measure
Yeah.
floss and cut it
Yeah.
appropriately. Like, how much money are you actually saving?
Mhm.
Like 5
None.
cents a day? Like,
Let me ask you something about the prophy paste. Have you ever used
no,
a full cup
I
of
kn-
prophy paste?
No.
No.
never.
I never
think that
have.
they should be, I think that the prophy paste, I think it should be half the size.
Mhm.
I
Like
know.
maybe shallower.
I know. Okay, say shallower because otherwise to get your prophy angle in there, if they're any smaller, you're not going to get
No.
your prophy angle in there.
Right.
But
No, just more
yeah.
shallow. Because I probably use, on somebody who's really stained, I probably use half. And if somebody's
Yeah.
really stained, I'm going to use instrumentation. I'm going to use Cavitron. I'm going to use,
Exactly.
Yeah.
the scoop thingy on the Nevi or whatever to get
Yeah.
that stain
I don't
off.
think
I'm
I've
not
ever
using-
used a full little thing of prophy paste ever in
Me
however
neither.
many years I've been doing this.
So,
But I'm still not going to cut it in half
no, absolutely
or
not.
like dip out of some jar. That's
That
weird.
I've done before. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. It's like you just get like a tongue depressor and you get it out and you shove it in a
Mhm.
little dapping dish and that's it.
I know,
But
it just
dentistry-
takes, I mean, we talk about taking time.
Yeah,
It
no,
takes
I know.
time.
I know.
So we
but
have a
dentistry is so
hygiene-
wasteful, I feel like, that some of the things
Yes.
I'm sort of like, okay, yeah, well, I kind of, like someone said that he used sterilizable dapping dishes for the
Yeah.
prophy paste.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I saw
well, I
that.
kind
They were
of
glass.
agree. Yeah, they were glass, so you could sterilize them. I kind of agree with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I kind of think that that's a good idea because it cuts down on waste, and dentistry
Right.
is wasteful as fuck.
Yeah.
So I think I've said this 100 million times. I work for an awesome office with great bosses. And when I started there 6 or 7 years ago, they didn't have headrest covers or chair covers, things like that. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, like, you know, but it was because they try to be green and cut down on all that waste. They're like,
I agree.
Yeah.
we have cavi wipes, we have the disinfectants, we spray or wipe. So, it's disinfected, and then you're saving all that plastic being and you're also saving overhead from not
Yeah.
doing all that.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, we still have that stuff, like somewhere in a closet, probably with dust on it. But if you wanted those things, they're there.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
one extra thing for me to fucking clean up. No thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
just
big,
let me
huge,
wipe
like
everything down.
pieces of plastic that go over the chair. No, I'm not using that.
If
Yeah,
we're cleaning, I don't
so-
understand the barrier thing.
Yeah,
Because
it's
if we're
not necessary.
cleaning properly, I don't see why we need one.
Yeah.
So like the air water syringe, I do get because it like mine has the 2 buttons, and then like you press the little round circle and pop in the air water syringe tip, and then it pops
Yeah.
out. So there's lots of little nooks and crannies and crevices.
Mm-hmm.
So having a plastic barrier over it just kind of protects all that germs from getting in those crevices. But I just feel like I spray the crap out of it. And when I'm
Yeah.
wiping it, I actually like push in the little ring after I take the piece
Mhm.
out and wipe it really good. But I don't know. It's very it's hard. It's hard.
I think it's hard to be 100% sterile. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's
just disinfecting. So I don't think we have to
Yeah.
be sterile, just
Yeah.
disinfecting.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get it. Trying to be green, but also not spread germs.
Yeah.
So I have a good story for you about a dentist I worked for
Yeah.
who was a cheapo. He wanted us, he wanted us to make our homemade Arrestin. So basically he wanted us to take the tetracycline capsules, break them open, empty out the insides, get some KY, make a paste with it, push it through a like syringe and insert it into the pockets.
Okay. Questions.
Yeah.
First of
I
all,
don't
does that
know.
work?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, Arrestin is expensive. It's really
Oh
expensive.
yeah. Well,
But-
don't get me started on Arrestin. I'm not going
Yeah.
to. This
You
is
can
a
get
podcast.
marketed
Yeah, we're not going to go there.
Yeah, but why not just call it a prescription for tetracycline or whatever it is, or
No, well, it
The
has to be
antibiotic.
locally. It's got to
It
be
has to be
locally
local.
delivered. Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
locally delivered for it to be.
well, I know, but I've also
yeah.
read like you can still do like an oral.
Yeah, but it's not as effective,
No.
or
It's
it's
not?
not,
Okay.
if at all. Yeah,
I mean, I still like.
think it.
Really, is that going to be effective too? Like mixing it with KY jelly?
I don't
You
know,
guys are
but when
having
I
a
saw the
party.
KY, that's what I said. When I saw the KY, I was like, "Yo, what's up? What are we doing here? What's going on?"
Is KY jelly, like, can you use that in your mouth? I mean,
I guess so. Well,
You know.
Liz.
I know,
Liz.
but that doesn't mean that, even on the label, I'm not saying that we collectively, I'm not naming any names, Anna, haven't had KY jelly in our mouths or any other type of lubricant. But what I'm saying is
I'm
that
pretty sure
like,
it's safe
on
to
the
swallow.
I think if
Yeah.
it's safe for your labia, it's safe to swallow.
Really? Are you
I don't
swallowing
know.
some are you gonna swallow some monostat?
I don't know,
No,
man.
what? Where did that? Okay,
Not intentionally, no.
we have derailed.
Okay. So anyway, so then how did he ensure that the correct amount of doxy, or was it tetra, whichever, was
It's
actually
the same thing, yeah.
was in the
You don't.
Oh, I don't know. You don't.
suspension.
That's the whole thing. You really kind of don't. You just make it a paste and syringe it, like get it into a syringe, and yeah, I don't think there's no measurements involved. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'll give him
What'd you
points
charge
for
for that?
creativity.
I think we only charge like $25 a site or something cheap. Yeah, it was cheap, but
Jesus.
still,
Did it work?
I tried it for like a day and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. This is stupid.
I didn't even get to the results. Just that's dumb.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
talk
don't
about
know
a time,
if it worked.
Talk about a time
my
waster. Like again, you're paying
Yeah.
someone to pop open these little pills and mix it with KY jelly and then get it into like, that just takes time. That's stupid.
It's
All
just
right.
dumb. But that's my story.
Oh, I don't feel like I have any good stories. We had a lot of good stories.
From temping, you don't have any?
What?
I feel like all of mine are from temping. Like, I know one of them, the big ones on your list that we saw several times, and I don't think that this is really happening now post-COVID, but I was shocked when I went to a pediatric place, and she did a lot of stuff, but one of the big ones was reusing gloves.
That's disgusting.
Not patient to patient,
out of
but
200 comments, the things that came up the most were reusing PPE that should not be reused. And I don't know who these dentists are, but I hope you get reported to the board. That is just sick and cheap and disgusting. Some of these stories I read.
Their rationale, and I still don't agree with it, but their rationale is you're not using the same pair of gloves on two different patients. You're just saving the gloves for that patient so that, like, say Liz is done with hygiene, she takes the gloves off nicely and puts them on the tray.
Who
and
can
the doctor
do that?
comes. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, but that's their rationale. It makes no sense to me. But
like,
my gloves come off and they're like inside out. I don't know how you keep them the right way. But
I am sweaty. I'm always hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I can hardly, like, if I change my gloves, if I have to like touch something or get up and then put new gloves on, like, no, my hands are so sweaty. I have to like go wash them and dry them. Like, there's no way you're peeling
new gloves. Oh my god. On sweaty hands.
Sweaty hands are ridiculous. And then they're like ripping, and then I have like all this like, I mean, and I have to laugh because on where I have reusing PPE, I have 2 people, 1 glove.
Whoa.
But that's what it amounts to, a shit show.
That's ridiculous.
I am not taking my gloves off nicely so the dentist can come in and do the exam with the exact same pair of gloves. I mean, you can't.
But there are offices that actually allot you, like they actually hand you a pair of gloves for each patient, and that's all you get. Like, that's it.
I read that.
If your glove rips, too bad. No.
Yeah, no, forget that.
Get some Scotch tape. Tape that shit back up. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Read, but like, somebody said, well, actually quite a few people, it was one patient, you use the gloves, the next patient, you turn them inside out.
Oh God, no.
Yes, that was on several comments. I
did see that.
Sticking my hand like covered in saliva and blood and herpes.
What's the point of gloves at that point?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, was that like people doing that now, or is that like when gloves first became a thing?
I think it was in the 80s when gloves first became a thing, probably.
Sure, that's someone to go with.
But yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't want to scare people.
I swear dentistry isn't that
dentist.
disgusting. This isn't common. If anyone outside of dentistry is listening, this is not commonplace.
It's not common. These are the very few and far between.
Yes. But I've never encountered that. Here's one that's like along the same lines, though.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor would get the masks that were in the garbage can out of the garbage can and then flatten them out and then put them back in the box. Now, first of all, I gagged because I thought of me putting a mask on my face that was on someone else's face. Ew. Yeah.
But like in the garbage?
Ew.
In the garbage.
I mean, and that's like the secondary problem. Ew.
Like, I get, okay, so this is not like, just take away the whole COVID thing. Like, I know COVID was extreme, and even during COVID, my office did not do this shit. Like, we would have just closed if we didn't have the proper stuff.
Exactly.
Like, I get, like, reusing the N95s, putting them in a paper bag. Like, that's just something we had to do. It was, like, unprecedented, you know, when COVID...
The hospitals were doing that because there weren't any masks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, when shit hit the fan, things were different. But just your everyday things, like... So when we're talking about this stuff, we're kind of not thinking of COVID, like as if COVID never happened.
The worst part about the mask thing, by the way, is that she didn't even know he was doing that until she was there a few months. And the other staff members told her. So she had been putting dirty ass masks on her face without even knowing. I can't.
Oh my God.
That would have been my last day. There's no way. That would have appalled me so badly that I would have walked out immediately. No way.
Ew. Well, one of them that I read, going back to the gloves, because we were talking about sweaty hands and how you get them out. So they would take them off after the cleaning, and then they wanted them laid out nicely so the dentist could put them on for the exam.
Yeah.
And one of the tips the dentist gave this hygienist was blowing into them after you take them off. Blowing into them.
So that you can put them back right side out. That is so absurd.
Yeah, let me just put those dirty gloves up on my mouth.
Do you know how many times I go to the nail salon and I see them do that?
Ew!
They turn them back out the other way, blow into it, and put it on their hands. And I'm just like, what?
I'd say something.
Yep.
Ew.
I mean, I expect that from a nail salon, but not a dental office.
Well, yeah, it's a little different.
No.
Yeah. So kind of going along with the whole like reusing things, I read like a whole lot of like just sterilization stuff. Like a lot of offices still using cold sterile to disinfect non-reusable items, like disposable one-time use.
Like saliva ejectors, air water syringes, things like that.
Saliva ejectors. Are you kidding me? And then
ew.
There was like XCP things. They didn't have enough to get through the day, so they were putting them in cold sterile instead of sterilizing them. But then there wasn't enough, so after like 5 minutes, they're reaching in and grabbing it out. Like, what's the point of that?
Scrubbing it down. Yep.
Yeah.
I worked in a place, I temped for a place, I'll say. I did not work there, just for one day, where they had one XCP kit for the entire office.
Oh
one.
My gosh.
And they expected you to spray it down with Cavicide and reuse it. They didn't even have barriers, nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to freehand today. And that's what I did. I basically freehanded the entire day. Because I'm like, there's no way that I'm doing that.
Yeah. If I were in these offices, which I get like some of these stories, and they kind of did a disclaimer. This was back in the 70s, 80s, prior to HIV, AIDS, blah, blah, blah. But yeah. Ugh. No.
Here's one like outside of like PPE stuff, but a dentist that one of our ranters worked for used to make his own final crowns with composite material. So he would save on the lab bill.
I read that. No, that's not what it was. Well, to save on the lab bill, but his lab bill was so
yes, that they cut him off. Yes. Yeah.
Paid that they cut him off.
Yep.
So he started making his own crowns out of just like filling
basically
material.
A temp. He was making temp crowns and pawning them off as permanent crowns,
charging them as permanent.
That's insane.
So when you bite down on the very first thing
on there that the dentist would take off the temps and get the like cement and stuff, clean them out.
No, he didn't even take the Yes. So that was reusing a patient reusing temp crown. So I don't know if that's like, there's no way that could have been like a custom. I'm thinking like stainless steel, maybe temp crown. I don't know. But she said he was just popping them off, putting them in the whatever to disinfect or sterilize them. She said not even cleaning out, leaving, and like wouldn't even clean the cement out until he was getting ready to place it on a new patient.
Yeah.
And wait, did he sterilize them in between? Not that makes it any better, but I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Okay, good. At least he did that.
Yeah. But that's like, oof.
Yeah.
And then one I saw that just caught my eye was a dentist and I didn't read this before. When I last visited this, I was telling Heather and Anna that I had 93 comments. And then today when I just looked at it, it was like 200. So there's a lot of this that I have not seen yet. There was one that the dentist used battery acid instead of etch.
I saw that.
I did not see that.
How is it like? I don't know. I'm not like a science freak like that. I don't understand like the acidity levels of both those items enough to like compare, but something tells me that battery acid in the mouth is not a good idea. I'm
Where
not
do
sure.
you get battery acid?
I don't know.
Exactly. Are you like dissecting battery? I don't know.
Can you buy battery acid? Like,
If you're
I
gonna
don't know.
buy battery
that
acid,
much
just
more
buy
than
etch.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
I'm just
know.
like, what? That's an idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
You guys know that's what this
No.
whole thing is. You know that lady on TikTok? Everybody's so creative.
Yes,
You know that
yes,
lady?
yes. We should do one of those.
Sure.
Everybody's so
Yeah.
creative.
We'll call this
Look at this dentist.
Well, this
He's making his own
this
10 crowns.
dentist that
Doesn't it look like
Yeah.
we're not supposed to do that? But we are.
well, dentistry is science and art, guys. Come on.
Well, I mean, I agree with
Art.
that.
I agree.
I
do
agree with
too.
that.
So I'm sure those little resin crowns
yeah.
are beautiful.
They're not
Yeah.
strong, but
I was
they're okay looking. Yeah.
sure they're not like a Bruxer, but so
Oh, I got one.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the
I'm
80s,
excited.
I worked for a doctor who had a toaster oven as a dry heat sterilizer. I was like,
Yes!
how the does that work?
Yes.
Like, how? You just put them in the toaster oven on like 350 for 15 minutes? I don't like.
Like, yes. And don't you need
I
like
don't
pressure?
know.
So, okay, I remember this from school. You can dry heat sterilize things, but there's like a certain temperature for a certain amount of minutes for certain things. Like, I remember that from school.
So
I
I
do remember
can
that
use a
too,
toaster
but-
oven if I want.
I don't have a toaster oven.
I think maybe,
like-
I don't know, like an air fryer, maybe, like, and when you're in a pinch, like, I don't fucking know.
Crock
It's
pot.
like, our statin broke. Bring down the air fryer.
That is hilarious. But sad. So
gosh.
sad. Aw. Well, and then there, of course, all the homemade disinfectants.
That's
Yeah.
something I have not.
Instead of
I have
just
not
buying
encountered.
Cavi wipes or Optum or
Mhm.
whatever, like someone was saying that they saw a delivery and it was a huge delivery of baby wipes and like gallons of alcohol. And that's how they were disinfecting. They were soaking baby wipes in alcohol to wipe down the
Oh
rooms.
my God.
Oh, but I've seen
Yeah.
that just a few times. Tales from Temping type stuff where hygienists will walk in and they're using just like Lysol wipes.
There is a
Yes.
healthcare
There
grade
is
level of
Clorox.
Yes.
Yes. Clorox does sell that because I have seen that. So this is one that absolutely blew my mind and just kind of like, if you know, if you're in this field, that wives and husbands that are office managers like don't know what they're
Mm.
doing. And so this ranter was saying that they were complaining about the disinfectant or something, or they were trying something else. So to save money, the office manager said they were no longer buying like Cavi wipes, that they were just going to buy sponges.
Oh,
like
like kitchen
kitchen
sponges.
kitchen
Oh, God.
sponges
Mhm.
to clean the rooms. Just dip them in like alcohol or whatever disinfectant. And so the hygienist was like, yeah, no, that's cross contamination. You can't, we can't do that. Oh, here it is. DDS wife worked front desk. She decided we were spending too much on sterilization. Old school, gauze soaked in disinfectant. She announced we would be using sponges from then on with disinfectant. When I explained cross-contamination with her, she told us, don't worry, each room will have its own
Oh,
sponge.
that makes it so much better.
Lord have
Like-
mercy.
Like cross-contamination is only between the
Yes.
two rooms because, we
only-
don't see
You only see
impotent
one patient per room a
patients.
day. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't even
Like,
reuse
I don't
sponges
even
at
use
home.
sponges in my home
Yes,
kitchen.
We just said the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah. No.
What do you mean? You don't reuse your sponge? You use a new sponge every time you wash dishes?
Yeah.
I don't use a sponge.
Really? You use a new sponge every time you wash dishes?
Well,
Am I supposed to do that?
I don't use a sponge.
I don't use a sponge because they're gross.
I'm like, I don't use a
But
sponge.
what the fuck are you using? How are you washing
I
it?
have a brush.
A f***ing
All right, but
dishwasher.
Brush.
But you're using the same brush each time. Like you're not using a different.
No, after I'm done with the brush, I put the brush in the dishwasher too.
Oh, you people are good. I don't do that.
No, I don't do that either.
I'm better than you.
Yeah, like mine gets a rinse with water and thrown in the dishwasher.
That's what I said.
Sometimes, like we have like wash.
Did she not? I
rags,
think
like,
she didn't
dish
catch what you
rags.
said.
Yeah, no, I put it in the
No,
dishwasher.
sorry, I didn't.
I put the brush in the dishwasher.
Sorry, I was focusing on
Why?
Anna.
What I do?
Not disinfect your sponge.
Oh no, I don't disinfect my sponges. Like I get a new one, like I'd say once a month, I'll get a new sponge.
What?
But yeah,
you
once a
use
month.
the same sponge the whole month?
Yes. Am I
Anna.
not supposed to?
And it stays wet.
No,
It's a sponge. All the
I
bacteria.
know, but like
house.
no, but well we use plastic.
we ate
No,
at her
you
house.
guys use
we use
plastic.
plastic.
You guys are not worth the fine china. No offense. No, I'm kidding.
We're totally kidding.
But I mean, I'll be
No.
okay. In my defense, everything usually goes in the dishwasher. That sponge is generally used
Yeah.
for like a pot that
No,
can't go
I
in
get it.
the dishwasher. But I'm not gonna
Yes. Yeah.
use a new
No.
sponge
We
each
have like
time.
the wand.
No.
No. I've had those like wands that you fill
Yes.
with like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I'm doing my hands. You fill with Dawn
Yes.
dish soap and it has a sponge
Yes.
on the end. But I would use those for like a week, maybe 2, and then toss
Mm-mm.
it
No.
at
No.
one point.
No.
But I don't cook, so I don't have to worry
There you
about
go.
pots and
Today I
pans.
barbecued.
No.
Whoop whoop. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm hungry.
What else we got?
I just drank my dinner. Oh, there's so
I
much.
know,
Are
there
you
was, like-
kidding? One thing that's kind of like an overall, like one dentist canceled their dumpster pickup. So like what, $100 a month for
No idea.
dumpster. Yeah, I mean, so we live
Mhm.
in the country and we have a dumpster. So all of our trash goes in the dumpster. They pick it up once a month. It's like $120.
Wait, what? You don't have garbage
Um,
people that come to your house?
I live in
Oh,
the
okay,
country. No.
Wait, Liz, do you?
I don't live in the country.
No, I know, but do you have a garbage man?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I do.
sure.
You like take your bins. You take your
I
bins
take my
down
bins
to the
end of
end
the
of the
driveway.
driveway.
Yeah. And they
Okay.
come. Now,
Yeah.
I don't, there's 2 here, and I have the cheaper one where the guys still get off of the truck and like pour it in there instead of like the big, like automated one, the fancy automated one where the hands pick it
Yeah.
up.
Mm-hmm.
But what we don't have
Yeah.
in my neighborhood is recycling, which I think a lot of people think is weird.
We don't either. Out in the country, we just burn what we can burn. But anyway, so this doctor was not wanting to, she was cutting corners by not having a dumpster. Instead, she was taking home all the trash from the office and putting it like in her trash compactor at home
Okay, I mean,
and just like letting it go through the city.
Wait,
Yeah.
like she's bringing home like the saliva and bloody gauze and
yeah.
So at the end of the day, emptying all of your trashes, bathrooms,
Into one
ops,
big trash bag, and
sterilization.
then she puts it in her car and brings it home. So she doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
or maybe several, and then puts it in a trash compactor.
I can't imagine actually putting that in
Disgusting.
my car.
Yeah. Or in your
What if
maybe
it
in your trunk.
leaks?
What about your
What if
trunk?
I have an
Ew,
SUV.
but gross.
Like
I know, I don't know.
all
Yeah, I
open.
bet, yeah.
It's so gross. No. What about these dentists
Well,
that
then you take it home.
the
Ugh.
dentists that are like, you use your own paper towels and napkins, or they don't have toilet paper?
Yeah. Holy shit. I read that. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's a thing. Like, dentists won't buy toilet paper.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
they-
but since COVID, toilet paper has skyrocketed.
Very true.
There's a
But
shortage.
I think this was pre-COVID.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
So one of these patients said they had like an old office that was upstairs, but the patient bathroom was downstairs, like in the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
So if a patient had to go pee during a treatment, they had to go downstairs to where like the big office building was in charge of that bathroom and did, provided the paper towels and
Yeah.
toilet paper. They had a bathroom in their office, but he wouldn't even buy toilet paper for that. Like, you had to bring your own or not, or drip
So
dry.
I work in a low rise, high rise. I don't know what you want to call it, building. several floors or whatever. And there's several different businesses in there. But we do have a bathroom in our facility, okay? But it's not for patient use. The patients have to get a key and go out to the hallway to use the bathroom. And I agree with that. I agree with that. It's a staff bathroom only. That's
agree with that because you don't like the clean bathrooms.
I would like that.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, and I would like that because
I said
gross.
you like that because you don't have to clean bathrooms.
Oh, hell no, I ain't cleaning no bathroom. But but even
that's different than going down.
Oh yeah, that's different. It's like on the same floor. It's literally out in the hallway. They grab a key, which we have hanging by the reception area, and they go to the outside. But the not buying toilet paper for your staff is a little that's
the sign in the break room that says you can't use the office.
Bring your own
napkins or paper towels. You have to bring your
own paper towels for your lunch. You can't.
That's ridiculous.
Like, seriously, is it that expensive? I mean, I know it's expensive. I have a house full of pigs, but
it's the cost of
running a business.
Yeah, it's like you have to supply toilet paper.
I feel like I know
it's like a basic necessity.
No kidding, gross. Ew.
Yeah.
So.
We got to talk about the doctor who was IT like. He had like IT experience and his credit card machine broke. So he used his IT experience to fix it. Good on you, man. That's being good.
Yeah.
Like that's being cheap, but good.
Like not calling someone to come and fix it. He
exactly.
figured it out himself.
Great. You saved some money there. So to test it, to see if it worked, he ran his card and charged a penny. Then spent an hour on the phone with the credit card company to have the charge reversed.
Yes.
Which makes no sense.
I know like everyone's thinking, well, that penny goes to you because it's your office.
Yeah.
Unless
you paid yourself a penny.
It was a corporate, then he doesn't get the penny.
But even at that.
But it's a penny.
Like literally.
Like I find 7 of them walking down the street. Yeah.
Isn't there also like charge if you use a credit card though, like a 3.5%?
Yeah. So I'm sorry, it was 1.000003 that he got charged for using the penny.
Yeah. Like
I don't know how many decimal points I went over, but
yeah, your math ain't mathin'.
I don't know.
So
that is
I picked hygiene for a reason.
So sticking with like kind of the whole money situation, I saw there was a lot of people that like there were some temps working at an office, and the office had like a meeting during lunch, and the temp went to the meeting, but they wouldn't buy her lunch, but they bought everybody else lunch.
Yeah, I saw
that.
That's and then I saw one where the doctor said, "Oh, I'm buying lunch for everyone," and he bought one burrito bowl from Chipotle and had everybody share.
Yeah. One
that
sub
was on there
from
too.
like Subway, like a 6-inch, and cut it in 3.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, no,
and
that's
like everybody has to
okay.
share the burrito bowl.
You could obviously you need that. I will go get my own lunch.
See, my thing is this: is if you can't afford it, there's nothing wrong with not doing it.
Exactly.
But if you're going to do it right. I mean, like, I'm not saying go get filet mignon, but like, I mean, but like get a few pizza pies or something.
Exactly.
Like,
pizza's
cheap.
Know. And I know we all like, it's kind of like a running joke, like, oh, we get pizza. But that temp is there to help you for the day and bring in production and income. And if they weren't there, then you would be missing out on all of that, which is probably way more than what her lunch would have cost had it even been a filet mignon. And it's just rude and uninviting to make someone sit through a meeting and not provide them lunch, but you're giving everybody else lunch. Like,
it's just weird.
I wouldn't go back.
Oh yeah. No, I think I would have walked out at lunch and not come back. Just for the purpose.
But we've also heard stories about not just that happening to temps, but stuff like that happening to hygienists, period.
Oh yeah, because they make too much money.
Yeah.
You can buy your own lunch.
Yeah.
Biatch.
Yeah.
and this is kind of getting off topic, but there was that one lately that the dentist was like, when are you going to buy lunch for the whole office? And the hygienist was like, I'm sorry. Was that on Rant?
I did read that
Yes.
somewhere. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, excuse me?
I would have been like, PB&J for everybody.
Like, why would I buy lunch for your employees? Now, me, I'm just a nice person. And I would, like,
Yeah, I'll bring like bagels
I
or
stopped,
like, things like that.
like, we worked last week, the 4th of July week. We were open Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday, I was up early. I was awake. I was with it. I stopped and got like 2 dozen donuts and brought them in for everybody.
Man,
That's
those
awesome.
looked good too.
But let
I'm
me
just
just
saying.
say, like, because I wanted a donut.
Yeah.
But I just did it to be nice. Like, I don't
That's
mind,
awesome. I love
but
that.
it shouldn't be expected. Like, the dentist would never look
Exactly.
at me and be like, so when are you going to buy us lunch? Psh,
Exactly.
no. And so
I got another doozy here. I
yeah,
got
get it.
this one's funny. The doc that owned the practice that was sent over to us used, okay, this is messed up. He used to use straws from the
Yes.
dollar store to band teeth for interproximal restorations.
Yeah,
So he would stretch a fucking straw around the molar after drilling it out to use that to contour the restoration interproximally.
instead of using like those matrix bands. And
Yeah,
things-
matrix
yeah,
band and a
Yeah.
wedge or something.
Yeah, you're taking
Yeah.
a straw. I mean, kudos for thinking outside the box in a pinch. But
Yeah.
no,
I mean, maybe it works.
like, what are you
maybe it
doing?
works. I
Just
don't know.
like going to McDonald's and like taking all the free straws so you can save
Well, you
a
can't
few?
do that in New York anymore
no, you can't.
because we don't have plastic straws here
Oh,
anymore.
he's-
So he'd be shit out of luck.
Yeah, so there was like another one that I read that kind of went, using the straws for restorations. Okay, so one was a dentist that when they were sending claims into insurance, and so like he would paperclip the claims together or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
he requested that the insurance companies mail him back his paperclips.
I'm sure they did, right? Yeah, right.
But not just to
You
save a
guys.
penny on paper clips, but because they would use those paper clips for endo.
Oh, yes. Yes, I
Wait
forgot
a
that
minute,
part.
wait a minute. This has so many layers to it. Okay. He would paperclip the things together.
Yes.
And then send them to the insurance company.
Yes.
And then have the insurance company send them back so he could use them for endo. So he couldn't just use new paper clips for endo, which is what the in and of itself, right?
Yes.
Right?
Okay. I'm not I don't do, I'm not in there for endo. I just want to make sure that wasn't the standard practice. I had a feeling it wasn't.
No.
To do what? Like as a file?
If I
Is that
know.
like an endo file? Like I
think
don't
as a
know.
post. I think he was using it as a post.
Well, that's not endo.
What?
Yes.
That's not.
No, I think it was using. I know, but I think it was. You know how after endo, you generally put a post for the crown,
I
a
don't think
post
they-
and build up.
I don't think they do posts anymore. Maybe in the old
No,
days.
they don't. I don't know.
But even still, if that's the case, like he's using that as an actual dental material
Instead of a
Yes.
file or
someone's
gutta
mouth.
percha.
Yeah, I don't see how a paper clip could be used as anything other than a post. Like I can't see that you think you're shoving that in the canal and you're removing the root. You're not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm stunned.
I
That-
just feel like it was
okay.
a post, but I don't know.
That one is yeah, I think that one's the winner for me. And we've talked about a lot of that is my mind is blown.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, a dentist who called an insurance company and demanded they send him the paper clips back that they used to paperclip the paperwork together for paper claims, then proceeded to use said paper clips as, you're right, as posts for endos.
Yeah.
Ah.
So a permanent fixture in the patient's mouth.
Jeez.
Oh my god. What?
And these are like, we see these
What?
pictures of people are like, oh my God, look at this
What?
x-ray of my patient. And we're like, oh, that had to have been done in like a third world country.
I hope that nobody that is outside of dentistry listens to this podcast.
I know.
Because, oh my gosh.
I know. We're just...
But I would encourage, I've had patients that ask questions and you're kind of offended at first, but then you're like, you know what?
Exactly. After I was just thinking that, Liz, as I was reading through, I'm like, I've had a lot of patients ask me, is that clean? Is that reusable? Is that new? And I do. I kind of get like
annoyed. I get annoyed.
Like,
I'm just
why
like,
would I?
Yeah.
Yes, it's clean. But then that's the first thing I thought in my head as I'm reading through these, like, oh my God, no wonder people ask. And now I will never be annoyed at that question ever again. After reading through with some of these offices, I'm just so glad that I've never had to do. Well, and then going back to like taking away employee things, one dentist said that the employees were drinking too much water. So they took the water cooler away because they were tired of paying for the water because they drank too much. In that same office for Christmas, and now this, I don't know, Christmas bonuses or Christmas bonuses, like, I know we all have feelings on them, but it's a bonus, right? So
it's not an entitlement.
Right. So, but they were told that their Christmas bonuses were being used to buy new monitors for the whole office. So Merry Christmas. You guys all get new monitors.
Oh, hell no. That benefits you. That don't benefit me. I don't.
Yeah. So
I'll use buy me anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll use a dinosaur monitor. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that was the same office that took away the water cooler. Because you're drinking too much water. Okay. It's expensive, which it is. Water's expensive. Bottled water. So, speaking of water, see, this is all connected.
Oh, God.
Fran put a post about how a long time ago she worked for a doctor and found out that somehow, instead of like, I don't know how all the plumbing and stuff works in an office, but instead of it being connected to what it was supposed to be connected to,
I read this,
all of the ops and like the waste and everything was going directly into like the city sewage, like tubes just like out to the road, like lines coming straight from there and going into the city sewage.
Is that legal?
Somehow,
probably not.
No. Somehow he rigged it up where he disconnected all of the plumbing and
bypassed
made
it
so it was all draining. Yeah, like right down into the sewer.
Like I don't know what the benefit of that is. Like,
so yeah, I was gonna say, where's the financial benefit in
unless
that?
Unless you had to pay like saving? Sewage, or instead of
but you have to pay that regardless. Like if there's a sewage on your property, like where you pay that in your taxes regardless. Like it's not like, oh well, you're not using our sewage enough, so we're gonna not.
So where
charge you.
Liz and I live in Indiana, like we get, when I lived in the city, we got a water bill and a sewage bill.
Yeah.
So ours is not like that. But what I'm saying though is if you didn't use you lived in a house that had sewage and you didn't use it because you rigged some other line, it's not like they wouldn't send you a sewage bill.
Yeah. So the sewage bill in here is based off of your water usage somehow. Like they do a calculation, like how much water you use is then equal to your sewage. So unless, so I don't know, but it's just shady. Unless he was like not wanting to buy like the amalgam separator and like that big bucket that goes in sterilization or not in the lab, like under the sink. Yeah. Unless he was just trying to cut corners there. And like
think he was like
plaster,
dumping mercury,
plaster
into the street
and straight into the sewage, into those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So I was going to say that.
Isn't Fran in New York?
Yes.
Like, that's how y'all got them rats.
Exactly. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to find that post because I'm trying to see what she said, like what the justification was. I found her other one, but
it's like somewhere in the middle.
That particular comment.
Another one has to do with bathroom stuff. The doctor, again, I don't know if he was trying to save on sewage or what, but the toilet was broke. So instead of fixing it, he took the lid off the tank and everyone had to reach their hand into the tank and pull the chain to make the toilet flush.
No, absolutely not.
No, thank you.
No.
I would leave my dookie in there for everyone to see. And every time I took a dookie, I would leave it there purposely.
Ew.
just so he would be like, "Who's leaving Dookies?
It's like
Fix the
this
toilet,
the
bro.
South Park episode.
Fix the toilet."
Like season 2 of South Park, where someone takes a in the urinal. And so
Is that Mr. Hanky? Is that the
Hanky.
Mr. Hanky episode?
I don't know.
Howdy-ho.
They were just going through the whole school, the counselor, trying to figure out who took a dump in the urinal. All right. Well, I hope we didn't scare you too much if you are not in this dental field and listening. Again, I will just say that these are very few and far between incidences, and most of them happened, back in the 70s and 80s.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
We know better
We
now.
way know better now. And we have 13,000 hygienists who follow us. And trust me, they will report that shit now. So,
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
so if you would like to hear more of our shenanigans, you can follow us on Facebook, which I do have to say that to join RDH Rant, you do have to be a hygienist. And yes, we do verify your license. But if you're not a hygienist and you still want to follow our shenanigans, you can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and I believe now this Facebook Threads. Liz got us set up on there.
I do. I don't know how we're going to use it or if we'll even use it, but Threads is up. We already have 75 followers.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll have to figure that out.
So it's kind of
too.
like, it's kind of like Twitter. I don't know if what we use it for, but it is working. So follow us there just in case we decide to have shenanigans there as well.
Yeah. But otherwise, we hope you have love, peace, and brush your teeth. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.